Hi everyone, welcome back to another book review. This month my reading was a little slower than usual, but I still managed to read 3 books, so let's get right into it. Okay, the first book I read this month was Funny Story by Emily Henry. First of all, I have to say that I love Emily Henry. I just discovered her back in October. That was the first time I read a book of hers, and I absolutely fell in love with her writing, and this book was not the exception. Funny Story is about Daphne, who just ended her engagement with her ex-fiance, and Miles, who just broke up with her girlfriend, and now both of their exes are engaged. So Daphne and Miles end up living together and are roommates now. I know, definitely a strong start. One of the things I love about reading is that no matter how many books I read, I will always be in awe of how authors are able to create these intricate characters with their own unique personalities and quirks, and then make those characters have relationships with each other and have chemistry. I mention this because I particularly felt this with this book between Daphne and Miles. I caught myself laughing out loud multiple times when reading the dialogue between them and the situations that they were going through. I was just amazed at how authors are able to provoke these reactions in readers, just like when you watch a movie. I really find it amazing, and it's just one of the many reasons that I love to read, and it just makes me admire all authors out there and the effort that they put into their books. Okay, continuing with the book. So Daphne has this plan of leaving Michigan because that's where her ex still lives, and she just feels that she gave her ex all of her life and she made her world revolve around him and his life. So she just wants something and some city to call her own. So she has this plan of leaving very soon. But as the story goes on, her and Miles start getting closer and they both question if it could lead to something more or not. I don't want to say much more because I don't want to spoil it, and truly this was a masterpiece. I think this is definitely my favorite book of Emily Henry so far, and I obviously give it 5 stars out of 5. The next book I read was Murderland by Carlyn Greenwald. I know, quite the change from the previous one. This book caught my attention at the bookstore. I bought it because I had never heard about it, and that was exactly what I was looking for that day at the bookstore, and it did not disappoint. In this book, we follow Billy, a teenager who works at an amusement park and is starting her first shift at a new attraction after being promoted. But things take a turn when one of her coworkers mysteriously dies after riding her attraction when she was not authorized to run it at that moment. And then it all becomes even stranger when somebody else dies, and that's where Billy begins to think that maybe someone is trying to pin these murders on her, or they're just trying to make it seem like something that it isn't. So Billy makes it her mission to get to the bottom of things, and she spends all night at the amusement park trying to resolve the mystery with the help of her friends. I really enjoyed this mystery. My only commentary would be that it was a little bit difficult to keep up with all the lore about the amusement park and its past. It was quite relevant for the story, and there was too much information, but it was definitely an enjoyable story, and people who like mystery will definitely like this book. And also bonus points for mentioning Ryan and Shane at the end. If you know, you know. So I give this book 3.8 stars out of 5. All right, last but not least, the last book I read this month was The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. This book had been on my wish list for a long time, probably since I read Fourth Wing last year, and I got to research more about Rebecca's other books, and I saw this one, and I just bought it back in mid-May, and I finally got to read it. This book is told in alternating timelines, and it follows the story of Scarlett and Jameson during World War II, and in the present, Georgia, who is Scarlett's great-granddaughter, and Noah, who's her writer. Scarlett was a famous author with many books under her name, and there's a last book that she never finished, which tells hers and James's story during the war. And Georgia, who just finalized her divorce with her ex-husband, has moved back to her hometown in Colorado to find that her mom is finishing the deal for her grant's book. The agents choose Noah Harrison, who's also a famous author and Scarlett's biggest fan. However, Georgia isn't convinced that Noah is the right person to finish her grant's story, but Noah convinces her and they start working on the book. And while Georgia is rooting for a poignant and realistic ending, Noah is convinced that the right ending for her grant's book is a happy one. And while reading this book, I could really feel the love between Scarlett and Jameson, like I personally knew them and knew that their love was the rare kind that only comes once in a lifetime. It was really beautiful to read. I felt happy for them, and then I was heartbroken for them when they were facing difficult circumstances, but their love just felt so real through the pages, and I even cried while reading some parts of this book. I also really appreciated Georgia finding her spark again after being let down by all the people around her, and how she begins to trust Noah because it's clear that they have chemistry between them. And while the ending was totally unexpected to me, I felt like it fit perfectly. And I also really love that they shared the ending for Scarlett's book that Noah wrote and that they ultimately released. I thought it was the right choice too. I give this book 4.8 stars out of 5. Alright, well that was it for this month's reading. Definitely quite the mix, but a great month nonetheless. I can't wait to start July's reading. I'm definitely feeling summery, so I'm hoping I can get to read some more amazing books. As always, if you read these books, please let me know your thoughts and what other books you think I should read. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Paloma, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.